Are you looking to get into the trucking industry? Perhaps you're in training right now, or maybe you've even graduated and now hold a commercial driver's license. If you fit any one of these categories, the days ahead can be very exciting and a little frightening as well if you're not fully prepared. So I encourage you to stick around, because in this presentation, I'll show you how to prepare for life on the road. Hi, I'm Trucker Ray, and thanks for joining me. I acquired my commercial driver's license in 2012, and let me tell you, it was one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. This was a very exciting time for me. I had always been a good driver, but now I was able to put my skills to the biggest test of all, driving an 18-wheeler. Unfortunately, I wasn't very prepared for what I would need on the road. There wasn't much for instructional videos online to better equip me on what I should have in my truck. However, throughout the years, I've learned a lot from some highly experienced truck drivers I've met on the road, and from personal experiences of breaking down. Yeah, being stuck on the side of the road with an airline that had split because of wear and tear, and not being able to repair it until I got to a shop simply because I did not have the right tools or equipment. So I hope you'll find this video helpful, and that you'll share it with someone you know who's also thinking of becoming a commercial truck driver. In this presentation, I'll discuss several categories, like what tools you should carry in your truck, and what you should carry as for everyday maintenance, like oil, washer fluid, and more. What should you have as for communication equipment, and what applications you should have on your phone. Appliances and other cooking utensils, a separate food supply for emergencies, and enough water to last you 4 to 5 days. Exercise equipment, as well as an exercise routine to help promote a healthier life on the road. Entertainment to help you relax after a long day of driving, taking full advantage of amenities provided at truck stops like movie theaters, trucker lounges, and the trucker chapel wherever available. I will discuss what foods I carry in my truck and a healthy diet that I have found quite successful. We will cover all of this and more, so let's get the wheels rolling. Now, the first thing we're going to look at are tools. Tools you should have in your truck. Now, I'll confess, the first 5 years of my driving career, I didn't have a whole lot of tools in my truck, and I was very fortunate I didn't have any serious breakdowns that I could have fixed. So, throughout the years, I've acquired a few tools. Some people might think it's a little too many tools, but I think you can never have too many tools, and besides, what guy doesn't love going and buying tools, or gal? So let's have a look at some of the tools that I think you should have in your truck. This is what you should have in your jockey box. This is a kingpin puller. Very handy. Just reach underneath and you can pull your kingpin without pulling your arm out of its socket. Now, another thing you need in your jockey box are high security bolt cutters. This one is more or less for the wire, high security wire seals, and this one here is for the bolt, the big bolts that you put on the back of your trailer if you're crossing the border. This one works really well, and that one works good for the wire seals. And of course, always make sure you have a really good pair of gloves. These are excellent gloves. They last a long time. Don't get those other ones, those gray ones. Those ones are garbage. They only last like a week. But these ones here, excellent ones. You pay a little bit more for them, but they last you like almost all year. All right, my hammers. I use this one here to thump my tires to make sure I have more than enough air in my tires when I do a inspection or a brake check. This other hammer here, well, that hammer talks and makes things work. That's all I'm gonna say there. This is not absolutely necessary to have in your truck, but this is a pickle fork. I've had one of these ever since Challenger, ever since I started driving. I just use it in case I need to wedge something. Works well with the hammer. Hard hat, definitely need a hard hat. Some construction sites you go to, some places you deliver, you need a hard hat or you can't get on site. Safety glasses, very, very handy, very helpful. A lot of places will not let you on their loading docks if you don't have them, so make sure you have safety glasses. High security lock to lock your trailer up when you're at a truck stop or when you're crossing the border. Even though you do need a high security seal, I still like to have this on the other door. And if you ever have to drop your trailer, this is a glad hand lock. It hooks, more or less you pull your air lines off your trailer on the red one, and this one locks right onto it, which pretty well protects your trailer from being taken by somebody else. So make sure you get one of these, they're very affordable as well. Another item I like to have in my truck, and that is a broom. Shippers want clean trailers. So when you're done dropping off a load, get your broom out and sweep out your trailer. You'll make your shipper very, very happy. If it does not fit in your jockey box, just strap it to the back of your sleeper. Something else I recommend, a fully sized socket set. Lots of sockets, Allen keys. With this baby, I can pretty well fix anything. All right, it's time to look into the goodie bag, the toolbox I like to call it. These bags you can pretty well get anywhere. A lot of truck stops sell them, hardware stores. I like this one because it has little pouches on the outside. I call these my temp pouches. These are tools I've recently used. So let's see what I've recently used here. Gorilla Epoxy, high resin. This is epoxy which will pretty well glue anything. Especially for these newer trucks where they're all made out of plastic and something's always falling off. My pliers, wire cutters, screwdriver, again, these are tools I've recently used, and my wrench. And if you wear eyeglasses and a lens falls out, these are nice to have too. High precision, I don't know if you call them high precision, but precision screwdrivers. Tiny, tiny little screwdrivers. All right, let's see what's in this bag here. Now, I'm not saying you have to have everything in here. This is what I have accumulated, and I don't know. No truck driver can have too many tools, I think. All right, here's an oil can. Haven't used that yet, but I'm sure that'll be used soon enough. I have 2 wireless drills. These are nice. This is an impact drill. This is just a regular one. Nice to have as well because if you've got to do a repair. Electrical tape. Everyone needs electrical tape. Make sure you have plenty of it on hand. I've been at truck stops where truck drivers have asked me, man, you got any electrical tape? And I didn't have any. At least this way I've got enough where I could at least give a roll away if someone needed it. Here we go. Duct tape. Everyone needs duct tape. You can fix anything with duct tape. Ask Red Green. Make sure you got a roll of this. My buddy Kevin recommended that I carry wire in my bag. And this is a 16 gauge wire. You can pretty well hold anything up with this. You can fix electrical with it. But if your bracket on your muffler fell off on your truck, underneath your truck, you could use this to repair it temporarily until you got to a shop. Can't say enough about wire. Here I have a digital multimeter. Necessary, absolutely, if you're needing to find a ground or you got an electrical short somewhere and you need to find it. Definitely. 29-piece titanium coated high-speed drill bit set. I've already used this. I had to use this to mount an antenna because the bolt would not fit through the bracket. These worked out quite well. Incredibly handy. Zap straps. Everyone should have zap straps. Now you got to be very careful too. Some places sell the white ones and they're cheap. You can break them in half just by pulling them apart. I find the black ones are a lot stronger. My claw hammer in case someone nails something down inside the trailer when they're holding, you never know if they're delivering a forklift or something with wheels on it. They have to put braces under, and a lot of the time they'll just hammer the wood pieces, the wedges to the ground, and that's where the claw comes in handy to get that out. Vice grips. Need I say more? Sandpaper in case you need to clean a connection. You never know when you'll need sandpaper. Soldering iron in case you need to fix an electrical issue. And I have solder and paste somewhere in my truck, just couldn't find it. 2 different hand wrenches, and one's Imperial and one's metric. You never know when you'll need those. Nylon rope. I don't know, I think I got maybe 50 feet of it here. What do you need nylon rope for? Well, the other day I was delivering a load and I opened up the trailer, and long and behold, the chain on one side of the door was missing. So I couldn't latch the door open, so I cut a piece of this off. Problem fixed. This will read the PSI in your tires. It's a tire gauge. Yes, you definitely need one of these. This is rated at 150 PSI. Most tires are 102 to 105, depending on what you're using. I don't know what the super singles are, maybe the same. But tire gauge is definitely needed. Make sure you have one of these in your toolbox. And of course, the drill, or should I say my drill battery charger for my drills. And I've got a box cutter, tape measures, tiny little earbuds. I don't know what those are for. These are really tiny little things. I gotta oil these, but yeah, you could grab a hair with with that thing. And these are screwdriver bits for my electrical or my cordless screwdriver. Yeah, I could pretty well open anything with these. So I've got the batteries for my drill in here. This is a nice little kit, isn't it? Really nice bag here. So I got 2 batteries here. There's my analog tester. I don't know why I have 2. Maybe one day I'll run into a driver that needs a tester and I'll just give it to him. So there you have it. One other thing that's very important that you should have. This little baby here, it measures your tread depth. And if you're not sure what the legal limit is for your tread on your tires, like on your steers, I think it's 4, or maybe it's below 4. I think 4 is anyway close to it. Then it's pretty well almost illegal. These you can get pretty well at any truck stop, so I would say this is one of the first things you should put on your list on things you need. And in here I just have a few other basic things, a little level, and one other thing that I really recommend. I'm not sure what this is called, but it actually detects heat. It's a infrared. It's got a little laser on it, and what it does is it let's see here. If I point it on the ground, it's telling me that the ground right now is 19.6 Celsius. So it more or less measures heat. So what I use this for is if I'm doing a lot of driving and there's a lot of hills and I come up to a brake check and I pull over, I will walk around my vehicle and I will see how hot the rims are. If they're all consistent, then I know everything's fine. If one's really hot, then I'm gonna know maybe those brakes are grabbing. If one's totally cold, I'm gonna know maybe those brakes don't work at all. So I got this at Princess Auto, and you can pretty well get these at any hardware store. Not quite sure what it's called. It's a Pro Point, so if that helps you, it's a Pro Point, and yeah, it checks things. It just checks heat, and I have found this to be very helpful. All right, we're going to take a look inside the jockey box. And first thing you see are empty containers. These used to be filled with washer fluid. I just topped up my washer fluid. So I usually have 2 of these full. And as you can see back here, I have 2 empty ones. There's one behind the broom. I always have empty ones because you never know when you're going to need water. In case your radiator hose goes, or you're in a situation where you really need to get your windshield clean because of bugs or whatever, and you run out of fluid, you can always get water. So that's why I keep extra jugs with you. You just never know. All right. As you can see, I have the tools that I showed you. I got my hard hat in here, hammers, kingpin puller, little broom here for some housekeeping, straps. If you're LTL and you have the logistic slots in your trailer, always make sure you have extra straps. Never assume that the trailer you're picking up has been strapped down, because there's plenty of times in my time where I picked up trailers and they're not even secure, and you need to make sure your load is secure before you take it off the lot. Okay, what else we got in here? Oil. Always make sure you've got oil. Radiator fluid. Oh, another big thing. Always make sure you got that. In case a hose goes, you can top it up. Even if there's a case where your hose goes and you lose a lot of radiator fluid and you only have one, then you can dilute it with water until you get to a shop. You're fine with that. As for washer fluid, I put a couple squirts of this in before I put my washer fluid in, because it really does help with the bugs, because a lot of this stuff says bug juice and summer bug juice, but it doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. So I put a little bit of the dish soap, a couple squirts in there, makes a real big difference. Another thing I like to have on hand, and that is WD-40. I specifically use this for my taillights on my trailer, because when the snow hits, you spray a little bit of this on your trailer taillights, because they don't heat up, the snow is not going to melt. This will prevent the snow from really piling up on your taillights. In some cases it works really well, and if it's really snowing, well, nothing's really going to help it. But this will help the snow from not sticking to your taillights. And of course, I have a flashlight, but I have more than one flashlight. And you can see where my broom is there. I also have auto socks in the back. Those are almost like a chain, like when you chain up your tires, but it's a sock. It goes over top your tire like a sock, and they tighten right up, and I've got 4 of them back there. Some places like BC, they don't let you use them, but most other places across Canada and in the US, they will let you use them. So there you have it. That's what it looks like inside the jockey box. Some trucks have another jockey box on the other side. This one has an APU unit on it, so I'm kind of limited on space. So normally I can get about 3 or 4 jugs of washer fluid in here, but this is pretty well what I can get in here. Basic tools that I showed you, the hammers, the bolt cutters, my lock, my safety goggles, hard hat, everything is right here at my disposal. If I have to go into a yard where I need to put my hard hat on or anything. So, and of course, if you have your space on the other side, if you have another jockey box, you can put your steel-toed boots in there, because you will need steel-toed boots from most sites you go to, as well as a safety vest. So there's the jockey box. I'll mention one additional thing. In the wintertime, you will probably have to stock your jockey box with something like this. This is a diesel fuel supplement. It's an anti-gel. You would apply this to your diesel. If the place where you're fueling up does not have that supplement in it, this is, the instructions are on here on how to apply it, or you can ask your maintenance manager. But this is good to add to your diesel in the wintertime, especially in places where it's really, really, really cold. This will prevent your diesel in your tanks from gelling up and causing a huge problem. So if you're not sure about this, again, ask your maintenance manager, and I'm sure they'll be able to help you with instructions on how to apply this. All right, so let's have a look at communications, starting with my GPS. Alright, so let's start off with what GPS I use. I use a Garmin Diesel 780. It's the 8-inch screen. I like the bigger screen. It's just a little bit easier to see. And this GPS, I do really like it. It has a lot of features on it. And another thing that I really like about it is that when you need to update it, if you need to do a software update or map update, you just have to hook it up to a Wi-Fi connection. And it does everything for you. You don't have to hook it up to a computer or anything like you had to with the older GPSs. So I'm going to give you a basic rundown on how this works. So we're going to plan out a route because it has a really nice feature on here. It tells you what's up ahead, and I'll show you. But first we have to plan a route. So why don't we go into our favorites? We're in Winnipeg right now. So let's see. We'll say we're going to Calgary. It'll find my route. Also, another feature that it has that I kind of like it and I don't like it is it's got a voice command program. So if I went voice command and it says say a command, right? And then let's just say recently found. See, it's not hearing me. Recently found. Recently found. You have to like ask it 15 times sometimes. So the voice command feature is okay, but it doesn't work all that great. Okay, so now it's already planned my route. So if I was to, it's got all the nice touchscreen feature on it too. So it's telling me that I need to go this way. So it's the purple view. It also gives you an option if you want to edit your map. If you don't like a specific route, say I want to go this way, I just have to touch this map here. If I zoom in, say if I want to go the long, say I changed my mind and I want to go to Edmonton. So I just click that there. It will reroute me up to Highway 11 to 16, and it's saying add 3 hours. Yeah, if I want to go this way all the way down to Calgary. So I'm saying no, I don't want to do that. All right. I mean, yes, get out of there. Okay, so the feature I wanted to show you was it has, let's just say, trip data. Okay, so your trip data is really nice. It's telling me I have 14 hours and 58 minutes to get to my location. And I'm going to get there at 4:53 in the morning if I was to continue to go. And I've got 846 miles to go. It does keep tell me what my speed limit is when I'm driving. It will tell you right in the spot what the speed limit is that you're driving on. It's actually quite accurate. And you can keep track on how many miles you've made on your trip. And so far on this cycle, I've only done 1,000 miles. Now, this is a feature that I really like here. It has, so it will tell you elevation and like where you're at if you want to keep track of that. It will give you live updated traffic. There's an app that you can get for your phone, and it will link to your GPS, and it'll give you live updated traffic updates. Now, this is a feature I like. It's called Up Ahead. You can customize all three of these, but the very first one I have here, it's truck stops. And of course I'm leaving that there. So it's pretty well telling me what truck stops are ahead on my route. And it doesn't have all of them, but it has the major ones. And I'm guessing whenever they decide to really truly update this map, they will update this as well. So it's telling me the different card locks and the different truck stops that are en route. When you're in the US, this is much more packed, of course. And it tells you how far they weigh. Oh, another nice thing here too. When you hit one of these truck stops, it'll tell you how many spaces that these truck stops are capable of parking trucks. Like this one's got 150. That one's got to be the one just around the corner here in Headingley. And yeah, and then if you click onto that, it'll tell you it's got a scale, showers, Wi-Fi, restaurant, parking. So some of these you can find that it'll tell you how many spaces. This one's got 15. This is also, as I said, customizable. So you can go, okay, I've customized this to say I want to know where all the Walmarts are on location, or should I say en route. And when you're in the US, there's a lot of Walmarts to choose from. And so as you can see, there's a fair amount of Walmarts you can hit, so which is really nice. And then you can just hit this and you can find out, okay, how far is it off the highway? It's right there. And then you can actually call them, but because you'll have the phone number right here, you can call them and say, do you guys have truck parking there? Yes, we do. Great. then you hit the go. Say I want to do that. Hit is my next stop. And now it's navigating me to that Walmart as my next stop. And it'll tell me, if I go into here, it'll tell me exactly how many hours it'll take me to get there, so my arrival time, etc. So, as I was saying, it's totally customizable. So if I wanted, and I got rest areas on the bottom here as well. And thanks to our country, we don't have a whole lot of great rest areas, not like the US anyway. So, but if I wanted to, I don't want to customize that one. Let's see. Yeah, I can always change it back. So say I want to customize it to say, let's see here, custom search. Let's just say Wendy's, even though I don't eat there anymore. And then you can create a little happy face, a little signature for it. And now you just wait, and it'll tell you all the Wendy's locations that are en route. So this is very, very convenient. If you want to find a specific place, you can punch in drugstores or whatever. So it is very, very nice. So that's the GPS that I use. And it has, if you go into this menu here, it has a lot of different features, especially if you have it linked up to your phone. Live traffic updates, weather updates. It's just, yeah, it's a great little thing. This is where I've been. So this tells you all the different places you've been on this route. So it's showing that it's showing me all the different places that I've been en route. Alrighty, so let's look at the CB radio that I use. And I use a Uniden 980 Super Sideband Bearcat. And I really do like this CB. It's actually very clear. It's nice because you can change the different display colors on it, which is really nice. It has a scan feature, so it'll scan through all your channels until it finds a busy one. It also has a digital readout on the bottom here. It has a weather channel.
Ce soir, minimum 13 pour vendredi ensoleillé.
And when you're in Canada, you have to unfortunately listen to that. But when you're in the US, you can hear the weather channels in every single city you go to. It's very nice. So this is very, very convenient. Plus, it has sideband on it. And sideband is another frequency in itself. Okay, let's see here. Probably not going to get much. Normally, you'll get the sideband on the upper channels. Let's see here. So lower sideband is usually it, but there's nothing going on. And this is your clarifier. This is what you would tune it with. I got a lot of experience with sideband units, but the CB is a lot more popular in the US than it is out here in Canada. Well, Eastern Canada, they use it, but in Western Canada, we use VHF radios, but I don't have mine installed in this truck because we normally only really need it during the winter time. So this is the CB unit that I use. It works pretty good. And like I said, sideband 12 watts, AM 4 watts. It does the job. All right, why don't we have a look at the apps on my phone that I find very useful for my line of work. First of all, let's start off with the Pilot Flying J app. I use this one a lot because this is where our company fuels up. And this is actually it's not as good as the older app. I like the older app much better, but you know the way it is. They always end up upgrading and it's never as enjoyable as the last one that you had. This particular app, as soon as you fire it up, see what I'm talking about? Look at the glitches that's on this thing here. It's really nasty. So we're going to see if I can hit the closest place, which is Headingley. No, wow. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, this app needs some serious fixes. So let's hit the Headingley one. Okay, so if you were to hit the one that's closest to you, which is Headingley, the nice thing about these apps, you can actually reserve a shower. You can reserve a shower, but you're not going to get there in 10 minutes because it's at least 20-minute drive from here. But you can reserve your shower right from the parking lot. If you're sitting in the parking lot, it will tell you what your diesel price is, how many people can park there. It has a CAT scale, and yeah, so you can fit up to 150 trucks there. It'll tell you how many diesel lanes. It's always a good idea to have an app of the place that you normally would fill up. I would also strongly recommend you get yourself a rewards card. If it's Pilot Flying J, get your Pilot Flying J rewards card, because every time you fuel up, you're going to make a little bit of money, and that can go to reserved parking. It could go to anything that you want in the store. Love's also has a reward card. Actually, every fueling place has one. All right, the next app I'm going to look at is Trucker Path. I'm going to bypass the Love's app because I don't fuel up there. Now, Trucker Path is a very convenient app. You can actually plan a route, and it'll tell you all the different truck stops that are en route. It'll tell you where the weight scales are, CAT scales. It'll show you where the Walmarts are. The only thing I don't like about this app is when you have it open on your phone, if you're keeping track of where your stops are, truck stops, what have you. If you pass by a weight scale, it'll prompt you and ask you, is it open or closed? And that little prompt will stay open until you say yes or no. So it's almost encouraging distracted driving, and I don't like that. I've actually sent them a message about that if it opens up, when that prompt opens up, to shut it. Get it to automatically close after 10 seconds if you don't respond to it, and it still stays open. So I don't have it open anymore when I'm driving down the road, because it's distracted driving, and I don't want that. So the nice thing about this particular app is it will show you all the different places that are en route, and we'll go back again to the Flying J over in Headingley. So if I clicked on that, it'll tell me whether or not there's any parking, lots of spots, because it's interactive. Other truck drivers will go in there and say, yeah, there's only a few spots available. So when you go in there, you can pretty well find out 150 spots. Yes, there's parking, 14 showers, there's Wi-Fi, and you can look at some of the reviews if you want to go to a place and you're picky. This guy says lots of spots if you don't mind parking in high puddles, because yeah, there's a lot of low areas in that parking lot. So you can get people's reviews. If you click on restaurants, it'll tell you there's places nearby. There's a Denny's in that Flying J there. So this is a very, very helpful app if you are looking to see. And of course, here we are again. It shows you where all the Walmarts are, and I will show you this. This will be actually quite amusing. So that's the Winnipeg area. So let's go down in a really high dense area. Let's check out, look what I'm talking about here. It's almost freezing. There's so many. Look at this, it's on such a delay here. Okay, so if we were to zoom in on the Chicago area, look at all the truck stops, look at all the Walmarts, rest areas. So it's quite accurate, as a matter of fact. So I would really strongly recommend you get this app. It's called Trucker Path. Another app that I would recommend is Blue Beacon, especially if you are a trucking company that hauls a lot of food or produce and you drive the US a lot, and perhaps they have a account with Blue Beacon. Maybe they don't, maybe they do, but you have to have your trailer regularly washed out when you're down in the US. This is a great app. It'll tell you where the Blue Beacons are. This isn't going to work very well because I'm up here in Canada, but if I look on here, the nearest Blue Beacon is in Fargo, North Dakota, 210 miles. It tells you where all the Blue Beacons are. It's a nice little app to have. Now, another app that I strongly recommend is called Cam Scanner. This is very useful, especially if you drive the US and you're heading back up to Canada, or vice versa. Now, what this app does is, if you're at your shipper and you're done loading up and you have to fax your paperwork over to your customs department, say in Canada, You just take pictures of it with this app, and you can send it via PDF. It's very convenient. Sure saves you going to a truck stop and having to scan everything or fax everything. So check out Cam Scanner. Great little app. Another app that I like to use, if you're driving ever into British Columbia, it's called Drive BC. This app is excellent for road conditions. It tells you the weather. It gives you all the highway cams in British Columbia for those of you that are brave enough to drive those highways in the wintertime. As crazy as I was to do it for all those years. It will give you shots of all the different highways. It's a great little app. I see the 97, beautiful. Haven't been up there in a while. Would love to go up there again. But as you can see, all the highways are very, very clear. No rain or nothing. And if there is anything serious that's going on, it'll tell you in the major events here, no events. That's strange. That's hard to believe. There's always an accident on Highway 1 in BC. So Drive BC. Get this app if you drive through British Columbia regularly. As for weather apps, I'd like to use two of them. One's called Storm Radar, the other one is AccuWeather. Storm Radar more or less tells you if there's a storm coming up, bad weather, and as you can see in the Winnipeg area, it's relatively calm, but if we go south here, you can see that it's not so calm in the Sioux Falls area, even some storm activity in there. So, great little app, this one here, if you want to know what's going on. Storm Radar and AccuWeather does pretty well what it says it's supposed to. It gives you a very accurate update of weather. It'll tell you in certain areas, it'll give you the hourly update, and you can even punch in what area you're going to be in. It'll tell you what the weather is going to be like. So there's a rundown of the apps that I like to use on my phone. All right, my friends, another piece of equipment that's essential is a headset for your phone, a wireless headset. I use the VXI Blue Parrot, and I want to make one thing clear. I'm not getting anything to endorse any of these things. I'm just showing you what has worked for me. Now, this is a great little headset. I've had it for 2 years, and this windbreaker is still on. How many truck drivers will you see at truck stops or in the fueling island and they're fueling up and their little windbreaker is missing? This windbreaker does not come off. It's actually the way they've had this one designed. It doesn't come off, which is nice. It's very, very lightweight. It has a button on the side of it which you can receive a call, hang up on a call. You can hit that button and it'll do a voice command. You can say call so-and-so, it will. Volume up, volume down. It will also charge while you're on the phone. That means if you notice it's saying battery low, you can plug it in while you're on the phone and it'll charge. The older Blue Parrots, they would not charge while you're on the phone. So the Blue Parrot VXI, great headset, about $125 I think, or just choose whatever one that you think is better for you. But make sure you get yourself a headset, because if your dispatch tries to call you or family tries to call you, you're going to be spending a lot of time on the road. It's essential to have one of these. Don't even be tempted on picking up your phone while you're driving. You're looking at a major citation and possibly endangering your life. So make sure you get yourself a headset for your phone, a Bluetooth headset. All right, so let's have a look at some of the cooking appliances and utensils I use in my truck. All right, the first thing we're going to have a look at is the power inverter. This converts DC to AC, which enables you to run appliances in your truck like microwaves, etc. Now, if your company does not provide one of these, ask your maintenance supervisor if they will allow you to have one installed. They may have to install it, but you might have to purchase it. This one's 2,400 watts, which is more than enough to run any basic appliance. I've also found a 1,500 watt or 1,200 watt to be, well, satisfactory. It'll run your basic microwave. So a power inverter is absolutely necessary in your truck if you want any kind of electricity, whether it be for your laptop, your TV, or microwave, or whatever else you might have. All right, so let's look at some of the appliances I use in my truck, starting with a toaster oven that I purchased. It's a Black & Decker toaster oven. It's not very big. It's quite compact, and it's a nice unit because it has two separate shelves. It does have, it works just like a regular oven. It'll cook from above, below. It also has a rotisserie in here if you ever wanted to cook a chicken, which is really nice. It works just like an oven. Has timers on it. You can actually cook a steak. I've cooked a steak on here. I've also cooked fish in here. Not advisable. You never get that smell out of your truck. Well, I did eventually, but it takes forever. This thing will drain your batteries pretty darn quick, so make sure your engine is running when you're using this. All right, next on our list is the microwave, and this is a great little microwave. It's a Hamilton Beach, it's 900 watts, and it's about 17 inches wide, which is very compact. It will fit in any truck. I remember having a Volvo years ago, and the compartment for the microwave, this fit in beautifully. So if you're looking for a really convenient microwave, the 17-inch Hamilton Beach, it's very sharp looking. It does take about 6 minutes to heat up a dish to get it to where it's hot. And because everybody needs a nice hot meal after a long day of driving. Now, as for driving, when you're driving down the road, you're going to want to get an extra little towel and wrap your glass carousel because that little glass thing will rattle around inside here, bang against here. And for those of you that get agitated very easily by little noises like me, you'll want to wrap this up so you're not listening to that bouncing around in there while you're going down the highway. So a microwave, you can pick one whatever you like, but I find this Hamilton Beach works really well. All right, so let's have a look at some of the utensils or dishes that I would use in my truck. This is a tote that I bought at Walmart. They're very, very convenient. They fit in pretty well any shelf in a truck. You can get them at all different sizes. And I use this thing to house all my knives, forks, and spoons, or whatever else I want to put in there. I have aluminum foil for my toaster oven, so nothing will drip down when I'm cooking something. I have a real set of a fork, knife, and a spoon, and a paring knife in case I'm at a truck stop or I'm at a rest area where I can wash my utensils, so I'll use those if I'm at a place where I can wash them. Spatula, can opener, salt and pepper, my coffee mug, biodegradable, disposable plates and bowls, and of course my paper towels. And other people can have, I'm on a specific diet, so I don't eat bread or grains or anything, so I have a toaster, but I haven't used it, and that's put away. But this pretty well does the job for me. Something else that I would strongly recommend, and that is a cooler. This one is an igloo. It'll hold up to 24 bottles of water, and it does a really nice job. It works off the atmosphere it's around, so if it's really, really cold in your truck, you may end up having ice build up inside, but if it's a really hot day and it's relatively humid inside of your truck, your bottled water will be a nice cool temperature. I guess what I'm trying to say is make sure if you are away from your truck, unplug your cooler if it's a really cold day, or you'll have a ton of ice building up inside of it. Price tag was about a little over $100. You can get these at truck stops, hardware stores. Nice unit to have, plugs right into the cigarette lighter, doesn't take barely any voltage at all. The last cooler I had, I noticed that the cigarette lighter end up plugs into the cigarette lighter, it was getting hot all the time. Not this one. This one works really, really nice. So you definitely should get a cooler for your truck. All right, so let's have a look and see what I carry as for food. So we're gonna look in the fridge first, and as you can see, there's not a whole lot of room. And yeah, I'm kind of cheating a little bit on my diet. I love my chocolate milk. When I have a long day of driving and I want to pull over on the side of the road during my 30-minute DOT, this goes down so nice. So my diet is a little bit different than the average person, so you guys would probably put something totally different in your truck. In my freezer area, I have meat patties in there, which I would cook in my toaster oven. So just to give you, there's another chocolate milk, guilty again. So what I have here is pickled eggs, and I really like these because having a couple eggs in the morning is essential. It gives you good protein, and because these are pickled, this will last in this jar forever. So you don't ever have to worry about them expiring on you anytime soon. I think the expiry date on these is May 2020. Yeah, so a whole year that will last in there. And I have tartar sauce because I had some fish in my truck, which I don't recommend you guys ever cook because it's possible to get the smell out of there. I've got cheese. I've cut 2 barbecue chickens down here. I like buying those ones from Walmart because there's 3 meals in each one, and they're each about $8. So you get 3 meals in each one. You buy 2 of them for $15. Good protein. I think that's a pretty good deal. And I don't have a whole lot in my fridge. I have my apple cider vinegar, which I have in the mornings and at night before meals. It's supposed to be really, really good for you, for your digestive system. And that's about it for my freezer. Oh yes, guilty again. Klondike bars, the originals. Another little treat that I like to have. And that's about it for my fridge. As for food that doesn't need to be refrigerated, and I'll give you the routine of my day, I start off my day with a grapefruit. Very refreshing first thing in the morning after you wake up. Plus, I also have a couple of my pickled eggs and a glass of green tea. I have the decaffeinated stuff, and you need 2 tea bags with this stuff here. I like it strong in the morning. It doesn't make any sense. I want to taste it. Let's just say that. So I have my green tea. Halfway through my day, when I start getting a little bit of munchies, mixed nuts. Now I have in here, and these aren't cheap. I'll say that for one thing. I think just the cashews alone were like $14. I have cashews. I have almonds. What else do I have in here? Pecans. Walnuts, lots of different nuts. I also have sunflower seeds in here, just a lot of mix of nuts. And what I do is I grab 2 handfuls of these, put it in a little cup, and put it down there, and I munch on those. And maybe an hour later, I'll have a pepperoni stick or 2. Lots of protein during the day. And I shouldn't be showing you this, but when I really get munchies, I have one of my butter tarts. Shh. I only have one of those every once in a while. That's my hidden stash over there. And as for anything else, you can stop at truck stops and get salads. That's one thing that I don't have in my truck, and that is salad, because I really don't have anywhere to put it. So if I stop at a truck stop and there's a Denny's there, I'll get a salad to go. Or if there's a Subway, I don't eat the bread at Subway. I don't eat any bread. I'll go there and ask them to make a chopped salad. So I still try to get my salad in there as well, so you can get the right nutrients and vitamins that you should have. I also recommend that you go to a health food store and try to find a really good supplement. I don't have any in the truck, but that's something maybe I should do today. Find myself a really good multivitamin, good supplement to make up for all those other things that I'm not able to eat. Now, a little recommendation as for fitness and exercise. I bought 2 of these from Walmart. They're 30-pound weights. They're just dumbbells. Goes well with the dumbbell holding it. There's several exercises you can do with these. You can do your regular curls for both arms. You do about 20 of those. You can also do this exercise, sitting on your sleeper, making sure your back is straight, because you certainly don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to pull anything. Do a few of those. You can stand up holding these, each hand on your side, and you can do squats. As you can tell, I need to lose a little bit. This is why I'm on my diet. You hold on to something. And I usually do this. This works really, really, really good for your abs and your legs. And I do about maybe 20 or 30 of those. May not seem like a lot, but after a week, you'll start noticing the difference. All right, something else I recommend is a bike for your truck. I mean, if you don't have the funds or the room inside of your sleeper to put one, you can always put it on the back. I see a lot of trucks with their bikes strapped to the back of their sleepers, but this is a convenient bike. This one folds right up. This is called a Giant Speedway. It's got 8 gears. Very, very comfortable, very compact. Nothing better than driving a long day and you just want to unwind. You've been sitting still for like 11 hours and you're like, okay, I just got to get out of my truck and go get some fresh air and stretch my legs. Great little unit to have, especially if you're doing a 34 or a 36-hour reset at a truck stop and the town's about a mile in. You can just pull your bike out, put it together in about 3 minutes, and off you go. Just a few items that I would strongly recommend you get for your truck. This is called a steering wheel desk, kind of desktop. Very, very nice. Has a little thing on here where you can clip your paper in here if you want. Really nice for filling out your bill of lading or whatever paperwork you have. You can also put a book up here if you wanted to. You can put your laptop on here. Very nice thing to have. It's about 25-30 bucks at most truck stops. You can probably find it cheaper online. Your steering wheel desktop. I would definitely get one of those. Another thing I recommend is an organizer. These are great. You're going to go to orientation. You're going to get a lot of paperwork. You can put it all right in there. You can put your fuel cards here, your reward cards, your passport, your pens. I usually put all my receipts right in here. Yeah, very nice thing to have, an organizer. Any stationery store, you can find one of those, and some truck stops as well. Something else I recommend for your truck, an organizer that fits right on your seat. These actually can fit behind the seat. It just sits on top like so. As you can see, I have some of these white zap straps that I'll probably be throwing out because they break so easy. But I put a few basic tools in here that I need. Some tape, another box cutter, but I can put all my envelopes inside here. It's very, very nice to have. And I think this was another, I think it was about 18 or 19 bucks I think I paid for. Very nice to have, especially if you're limited on space where you can put your paperwork. I, for one, am very meticulous when it comes to keeping my truck clean. I find it very, very important because of two reasons. One, for hygiene reasons, and as well, if you get pulled into a scale and they want to do some inspection on your logs, they open up your truck and there's garbage falling out. And I've seen it. I've been to truck stops where guys have garbage all over their dash. And you get a DOT officer that opens up the truck, he sees a filthy truck, chances are he's going to give you a full inspection, because if you keep your interior of your truck that bad, what's the rest of the truck look like? But if you open up your doors and it's smelling clean, there's an air freshener in there, it's very nice, the floors are clean, there's nothing on your dash, maybe a hat or so, chances are they're just going to let you go. And I've had that happen before, where a guy will look around and says, oh, very clean truck, okay, off you go. That's happened to me before. So one tool I would like to recommend as well, and that is an air gun for your interior to help blow the dust and dirt out. Now I want to caution you, air guns can be purchased at truck stops, but they do sell a lot of garbage there, and they're the real cheapo ones, and you can usually tell which ones they are because this line is usually like a very light gray. This one I bought at an international dealer, and it's actually the very good quality one. Now it's very easy to install. This air line here is what brings air to your seat. I usually install it on the passenger side, and of course that's the line that goes to the seat. This used to be in line with it. This is like a quick release. It just pops right off. It comes off, and then the T goes right in its place, and voila, before you know it, it's installed. That easy, and there's no tools required. However, you will probably have to put the gun on the end of the hose, but before you know it, it's time to get the truck clean. It's very, very, very convenient. And I normally will open my door and then I'll just blow the dust out. And it's a nice way to keep the truck clean in a hurry. Two other items that you definitely need in your truck, and that is a safety vest and steel-toed boots or shoes. A lot of places you'll go to will require you to wear a safety vest. Besides, if you're in an area, a big DC or something, even if they don't require it, I would put one on anyway, just for your own safety. And a lot of the time companies require it. And these are nice. You can get regular steel-toed boots, but these are like a steel-toed shoe. And they are certified, and they're quite comfortable. Steel-toed shoes or boots and a safety vest, a necessity for your truck. I'd like to show you another tool that I have found incredibly useful, that hopefully it'll be useful for you too. It installs on your MacBook Pro or your PC, and it's free. It is Google Earth Pro. And I already had it open there, so I'm going to show you how this works. So you just load it up, and if you're looking for an address that you're heading to, say we're going to the Loblaws DC in Calgary, and you've never been there before, so let's put the address in here and then hit search. You do have to hook it up to a Wi-Fi connection or it won't work because it has to hook up to its servers. It'll zoom right into where it is. This is really nice to know if you're not sure on how to get to the place or how to get into the place, the reason why I use this place is it's huge. It's a very big place. This is Freeport Boulevard right here. And if you've never been here before, you're wondering, how on earth do you get into this place? Well, if you zoom in enough, you can see the entrance is right there. So this is actually quite an easy example. That's the truck stop here. It'll tell you, oh, there's a truck stop right there. But this is very, very nice because you can look at this in a three-dimensional view. If you're not sure where the loading docks are, you just have to turn it around and you can see pretty well any spot, any place. Very convenient. Google Earth Pro. Strongly recommended if you are just getting into this industry, if you're trying to look for some place. And you want to know how easy it is to get into, how many loading docks there's going to be, is there any obstruction in the way. This is actually quite an easy example. This is an easy place to get into. But Google Earth Pro, strongly recommended for your computer. Now, the final thing we're going to look at is our emergency food supply. It is absolutely vital that you have one in your truck in case of a road closure, mudslide, or an avalanche, or something very terrible that goes wrong and you're stuck for a couple of days. So again, it's so important to have an emergency food supply. So let's have a look. All right, so what we have here is at least a 4 to 5 day supply of emergency food if we need it. And even if we ran out of water, which we don't, we always make sure we have 4 to 5 days of that. I have beef broth, and probably I bought this just for the flavor and because it's a liquid. And I do believe there's some nutrients in it, so that's why I like the beef broth. I also have cans of food here that has an expiry date of at least probably a half a year. And once it gets close to my expiry date, then I end up eating it. So chicken, creamy chicken noodle. I've got a couple cans of that, or actually I have 4 cans of that, unless this is a different one. Oh, this is a different one. Vegetable beef. Lipton chicken noodle soup. Good nutrients in that. Well, at least they say anyhow. For protein, smoked oysters. Lots of sardines, and I love the sardines that are in the mustard sauce. Oh, those are so good. And as well as lemon, crackled pepper, and this is herring fillets. These are really good too. So you see where I'm going here. Yeah, food that's going to be good protein. And then there's another soup there, unless I already showed you that. And some might say, oh, I don't like that. This is corned beef. It's quite a bit of protein in here. And I don't think I would want to eat this with a fork. But if I had to, I would. And I got luncheon meat. And I actually stocked this stuff before I went on my diet. And of course, you'd have the corned beef and the luncheon meat. You would have that with probably bread. But if I had to, I would just slice it up and eat it with some cheese if I was stuck at a roadblock. So I do have to, or should I say road closure. So I do have to stock up a little bit more. I'll probably add more sardines, more canned food, but this right here will last me easily for probably 4 days, maybe even 5 days if I rationed it. And again, once the expiry dates get very close to expiring, then you end up consuming it and then you just refill it again. So an emergency food supply is absolutely necessary in your truck. All right, one additional thing that I wanted to share with you that I think is very, very important, and that is when you get your new truck, when you have your new truck assigned to you, get a spare key. Ask the company if you can have a spare key that you can leave in your pocket, so in case you lock your door accidentally, you're not locked out of your truck. I have been at truck stops where a guy will get out of his truck, his windows are rolled up, and he's ready to fuel up at the fueling island, and his dog puts his little paws up on the door and boom, locks him out. And the guy had to call roadside assistance to open the door. Absolutely necessary. Get a spare key. I always keep this key in my front pocket. Always. Some people put it on the firewall, underneath their hood of their truck, or under the hood on the firewall of their truck. I don't advise that. That's the first place a thief is going to look. So get a spare key and always keep it in your front pocket. You'll never ever have to worry about getting locked out of your truck. Well, my friends, I hope you have found this video informative as well as educational. It was a pleasure to bring it to you. A little of advice to the new driver. Perhaps you're in training right now, or you just acquired your commercial driver's license. Be courteous to other drivers on the road. That's including the truck drivers and the four-wheelers. And enjoy your new career. Until next time, I'm Trucker Ray. Bye for now.